Welcome to another episode of the Evan.
It's a bright, sunny day, and we're pleased to come your way with yet another episode. This more like the what before Christmas episode or Christmas episode, right? No, we could have a Christmas episode.
No, Christmas is it Wednesday or so?
Yes, so we could have a Christmas episode. So this is pre-Christmas episode of the Evan.
So you want us to have
Yes, that's
a
the right word.
Wednesday? Okay.
Yeah, so um we'll try to come your way with a Christmas episode. And on the Christmas episode, Prissy is going to sing Christmas carols.
Not again.
So you don't want to miss this. Like you don't want to miss
Are
this.
you sure you want me to sing?
Yeah, so Prissy will sing. She has a very nice voice. She sings very powerfully. So be ready, get ready for um that episode. Yeah. Okay. As usual, let's go out there, share the feed, get everyone notified that we are on. Yep. It's good to come your way again, as I mentioned earlier. And when you join us, when you join the feed, shoot a hello, shoot a hi, so we know you're here, and we get you um, to join the interaction. Um, Before we proceed, we want to thank Mr. and Mrs. Jandu for these nice outfits. It's um, it's awesome. I mean, it keeps people turning their heads, right? Like, yeah. So thank you so much.
Thank you
We
so much.
we appreciate your kind gesture. So let's get going. Okay, so I've just been informed that we live on TikTok as well. So for those of you on TikTok, let us know when you join the feed. Um, it's been a long year. Is it long or short? It's been a year, right? It's been, yeah. And depending on how the year went, I mean, you could classify it as a good year or a bad year or whatever it is, right? Or you're indifferent about it. But regardless of whatever it is, we here, we thank God we are alive, right? So that's the most important thing. Thanks for joining us, Rabbi. So, oh, and officially, we want to welcome Dr. Jigba to today's episode of DM1. Woohoo! There should be like balloons and stuff flying around here, right? So, it's been a long road, 5 years for going for a PhD. I think because that's what it is in the US, and it's a good moment. Let's hand over the mic to Dr. Jiba to tell us how the experience was, wh- how she felt that impacted her generally, and so on and so forth. Thank you for joining us, Sylvester. Yeah, so
So
Prissy,
today is
over
about
to you.
my journey.
Oh yeah, that would be good. We didn't discuss any topic, so yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
My
So share your
journey
journey
with
with
in
us. Yeah,
what respects?
in whatever respect you want to respect it. Yeah. So
Or
yeah,
how my journey impacted marriage.
yeah, that's fine. I mean, whichever angle you want to take it away.
I don't have much to say.
Yeah, say whatever it
It's
is.
been,
Mhm.
I would say that it's not it's not a smooth ride. It's been bumpy. It's been um a roller coaster ride.
Okay.
Um you have your highs and your low moments.
Okay.
And yeah, it's nice when you are done.
Yeah, and everyone else comes and
Yeah,
says congratulations, but
it's nice. It's not an easy. If you want to do your PhD or pursue a PhD,
yeah.
I'll say it is worth it. but then you should be ready for challenges. Yeah,
Okay.
because it's not an easy
Easy, right?
endeavor.
But is there anything that's easy in this life?
For me, I feel like there's nothing that is easy in life, even work. Well, you see, sometimes people go to work and they are complaining that work is hard.
Yeah.
That is why it's called work.
Yeah, right. It's
Yeah,
hard.
so if you have the mindset that
Yeah.
whatever you are going to do is hard,
Yeah.
then you can see it through.
Yeah.
So when I decided to join the program,
Yeah, just before you continue, Warren, thanks for joining us. He says, "Hi, you guys looking amazing." Yeah, we looking amazing because of Mr. and Mrs.
Mr.
Jan.
and Dr. Mrs.
Yes,
Jandu.
Mr. and Dr. Mrs. Jandu. I mean, it kept people turning their heads, right? Like we really appreciate this. It's awesome. Yeah. Oh, and Mr. Jandu just joined us. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Continue. So, how is it? I mean,
So it was a mixed feeling when I wanted to join because I wasn't sure
you
how
rather
it was
watch
go
Kukumba.
how it was going to. So one pointing in the Kumkum Baja. So at that point, I was managing the auto parts market.
Mhm.
So it afforded me the time to be able to be with the kids because then I had 3 babies. I always say I had 3 babies because the eldest kid was like 3.5 years when I had my third. So I had 3 babies in general at home. And so at a point I had to step back from active work
Active military duty.
with my institution. I
Okay.
was working with the University of Ghana as a research assistant. So having my own business, though it was you put in a lot, but you could also decide when you want to be at the office and then when you wanted to be home. So I was doing that and it was fun. So for me, at a point, I thought that I was like, I had drifted into business like fully. And before I decided, in fact, I was thinking, should I go back to um, school or not? Because how am I going to manage my family? How am I going to manage my kids? But then when I decided to, like, I had not really confirmed that I wanted to go, but like I had a desire to go, and I had everyone around pushing me. I had my former professor asking me, when are you going back to school? My husband was also pushing me, and my parents would also come and ask once a while, when do you plan to go back to school? So I put one or two together, and fortunately, just around the time I saw an ad about like schools in US and all that, and I was like, okay, let me give it a try. And so I tried. The first one, I got admission. So just around the time that I got that admission, there was an opportunity in my school that I should. They needed somebody to fill in a certain um, PhD position, and so I put in the application, and I went through the interviews and everything. I there was some prerequisites I had to do before and I was trying to avoid it. But after the interview and everything, I was asked to take a GRE. I don't know, those of you who have taken it, you know that it's not that easy, but I had gone through the interview and they needed that to confirm my enrollment. So Van was like, why don't you take the closest date? And that closest date was like 2 weeks away from when I had to write the GRE. I had never opened the book before. I never read it before. I don't even know the content of it. And so we had to do it. He you registered me for it, bought me the material, and then I started. So he will encourage me, and my study mate was my son, my first son. So we were studying together. He would ask me the question. I used one app on the phone, and then he would ask me, and I'll answer. So I realized that it even helped him because at that point he was around, was it close to 7?
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
he knew all the words, like 1,500 words. We were learning together. So that's how I got to learn. It wasn't easy, but I wrote and I passed like according to the school's requirement. And so I got a confirmation, and then now it was time to move. Then I was like, Van, I'm not going alone. So let's put in the application together for the visa. And I had advice from people, hey, American embassy will bounce you even when you're alone. So why don't you go alone and then come for a family later? I was like, no. For me, I like always in life, I've had things that people think that is hard to get. I think that's when I was even getting my when they were picking me for my job at University of Ghana. That year, there was an embargo for employment, but I think I was the only person that was picked as a new person. So that when I joined that interview, they were all going for promotion, and so I was the only one picked. And there are so many instances that I've seen that things that people are like, it doesn't work, nobody would. I am able to get through. So, like in my mindset, there's nothing impossible for God to do. So I went with the whole family, the entire family, and surprisingly, it was very easy. Like the questions they asked was not even related to school. Van had been to Cambodia to work, and fortunately, the one interviewing too had lived in Cambodia, so the whole conversation was about Cambodia. And he was like, "Oh, is there accommodation for the family and all?" I'm like, "I'm not sure. I haven't checked." And we got the we came here. We came in the winter, right? First time experiencing very cold weather. Michigan is very, very cold, very extremely cold. And
Very extremely cool.
it's extremely cold.
Okay, so before you continue, Carrie says motivate us. Thanks for joining us, Pato Usu. And Carrie says that something we they use 2 years, you used to with shark levels. Okay, so generally, let me put it this way: if you had another opportunity, like let's say you had not done this, having gone through the experience, would you actually take it? I mean, having the experience of hindsight, is this something you love that you did?
It was worth it initially when with Europe it's like 3 years.
Yeah.
Ghana too, you could have between 3 to 4
Yeah.
years. And so I was like, 5 years, that's a long time. But then I realized that you could just easily sit and not do anything in 5 years would just
Correct.
pass.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
for me, it's worth it. If I had to turn back the hands of time,
Yeah.
I'll do it again.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I think that's a good lesson there. Time really flies, right? When we were younger, I think it felt like time wasn't moving, right? Because you wanted to grow up, you wanted to become whatever you wanted to be, right? But it seems that when you grow up, time takes a different turn. It really flies, right? So, like Prissy said, you could easily look at a 5 year program and go like, oh, how am I going to spend 5 years of my time doing this? But truth is that you could be sitting down doing nothing,
Yeah.
and the 5 years will still come. It will just fly by.
I've had people reach out to me
Yeah.
like, I want to come to school. Maybe since the first year I came.
Yeah.
And maybe for some reason they keep on postponing, and sometimes they are surprised that 5 years has come already. Maybe if they had
Exactly.
made that effort,
Yeah.
they would be halfway through their journey or
Correct.
almost done. Yes. So
Yeah.
we came. Van followed me and was working remotely. Then COVID. In fact, the reason why we worked remotely was because of COVID. So we had COVID, and it wasn't easy because we didn't know how things were going to go.
Whether the whole world was going to die or not.
It was a scary moment, but we found a way around it.
You found a way around COVID, like you created a vaccine or something?
No, but we survived.
Okay.
We survived that.
Just before you continue, let me cut you. Thanks for joining us, Stephen. Thanks for joining us, Solomon. Good to have you. Yeah.
So we survived the first year. There were times that
Let
we had to like.
let me cut you
Yeah.
and bring in this question. How different do you think the program was structured as compared to what, because you did your master's program in Ghana?
Mm-hmm.
How different do you think the structure of the program, both programs were? I mean, how different were they?
Okay, so this one was more hands-on,
Which one?
and like the
The
PhD.
PhD, okay.
Yeah, and I will not blame that Ghana because it's just about resources.
Yeah.
So because we don't have resources in like the necessary resources,
Yeah.
it's hard to do something you want.
Okay.
Because for me, fortunately, when I was doing my master's,
Mhm.
I had a supervisor that got funding from the Netherlands.
Okay.
So he supported me with that funds to do the master. But most of my colleagues had to pay for their research out of pocket.
Okay.
So you are limited to how much you can do because you are also looking at what the money
money you are
can do.
investing.
Yes. But then here, if the supervisor doesn't have money to fund your work, they will not take you.
Okay.
So it's more like it is your supervisor's grants that is employing you.
Okay.
Yes, so you can do so much if it's reasonable and it's like it makes sense to your work, you are able to, and then you have the facilities, and so you get to learn a lot. It doesn't, they don't care if like maybe you are just optimizing or making mistakes and all that in the at the initial stage. Throughout that process you learn.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think that is, so it's more of like applications here, and it's I'll say that it's more of an innovative work. So you don't have to copy what somebody has done and you are trying to repeat it in your sector. You can do something new altogether because the funds are available to to start something new. So I think that
so all you're saying is poverty kills innovation.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, or lack of resources or something.
Yes. So you're not limited to how far you want to go with
in
your research.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Hey, Segua, good to have you. Segua. Oh, good. Now, do you think that it makes it difficult for people to adapt when they come in here, because now it's not like a set of principles you're just going to memorize or something, but you really need to understand and apply it to day-to-day life? Do you think it's difficult to adjust?
So I remember before we came, people are like, you see, usually when we come from Ghana and we come here, most Ghanaians are like, they do very well in school. So people might think that, oh, schooling in US is easy. It's not.
Okay.
So in US, it's more like application. You are not asked to chew and like deliver, pour out what they've taught you. It's like, it's more like application. So they'll teach you the concept.
Okay.
And the questions you are going to get is more of application.
Okay.
So there were times that I remember when I came in the first time, me being out of school for like 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Even though I did some like research and all that. One, it was hard going back to like going to read and all that. And then secondly, it was more of a different concept. So I remember times that I had to submit assignments and the deadline, the time was like 11 something. I would wait because I'm still reading over. I'm not sure if, and there was no wrong or right answer.
Yeah.
Because some of the questions are not like they've given you questions and this is the answer.
No,
You have to think about it and bring out a concept and like try and defend the concept. So if you make a lot of sense or your reasoning is good, you get it right, even though maybe it might not work, might not be feasible.
Yeah.
But it's more about, so sometimes I wait, I read over, even at the last minute that I'm submitting, I'm not even sure that I've done the right
that you've written things.
Yes. So I usually submit my work at the last minute because I'm going over. I want to be sure if what I've written makes sense and all that. And so I think that the system promotes how do you call it?
Critical thinking.
Yeah, like it makes you think outside the box.
Okay.
Yeah,
How
so
big is the box?
it's not like, okay, this is A, so this
Okay.
always how we do it.
Okay.
They just make it open for you.
Okay.
Think of ways that so many, there are so many ways out.
Yeah.
I might have a different idea. This person has a different idea. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how the I think that's how the assessment is done here.
Okay, so let me ask this. Having gone through the 5 years of your PhD, how do you think you would cope if you were to go back to do, say, a 2-year program in Ghana? Knowing how things are structured, how courses are delivered and all, do you think you would cope? And how well do you think that would be?
Well, maybe I might find some things frustrating.
Okay.
Maybe like I've been taught this way. I'm asked to deliver it this way, and I feel there's an alternative way that
Okay.
I have to deliver it.
Okay.
And I feel it's also right, but
Yeah.
maybe the professor wants it this way.
Okay.
Yeah, so I might feel a bit frustrated.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I feel like I have to think beyond what I'm being given or something. So yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So, but it's not like I'm condemning our educational system.
yeah,
I
of
think
course.
we are also like, there are some
We are doing the
institutions that
best
are
with the
trying.
resources we have, right?
There are some, I think there's some programs in Ghana. I know about the WAGBIP. They are doing they are trying their best with the um I know the one in charge school here in the US. So
Okay.
he's implemented more of the American system, and most of
Okay.
their students also travel outside to
Okay.
continue their research there. Yeah, so some institutions are trying to evolve,
Okay.
but some are still like the same old, same old. So
Okay. Now, over the 5-year period, were there times you felt like, why did I even get myself into this?
you always get that feeling. You always get that feeling.
Okay.
And so, like I said, it's a roller coaster. There are bumpy roads. There are sometimes the path is clear.
Okay.
So there are times that, so with your experiments, these are new things. You don't know what the outcome is.
Okay.
And here you have to learn. So with PhD, you have to, it's done such a way that you have to be able to learn new things really fast.
Okay.
So I have to read and be able to how do you call it? And be able to learn that method by myself. Nobody
Okay.
will teach you, but
Okay.
you have to read and then be able to how do you call it?
Like grasp a concept
You
and
grasp a
apply
concept
to
and
apply
then
to
align it to your
your
work.
work.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So you read it, but it might not be exactly that, but you have to think about the sciences and how you
Okay.
can apply it to your work. And it's a lot.
Okay.
And so sometimes you have done everything, you have tried the paper says it works.
Yeah.
You come and try it in the lab and it doesn't work. And
Okay.
you are still figuring out what might be wrong. There are times you've done the experiment severally, it has worked, you are trying it again and everything just goes here. And you have deadlines to meet.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it can be frustrating.
Okay.
And it's a lot. And so there are times I'm like, who asked me to even come and come to school? I was comfortable at home. I had
watching Kuku.
I had my own house. I was driving my own car. I had my own business. And so what am I doing here
Yeah.
with all this stress and all that? And I'm like, I'm not how do you call it, a loser. Like I have to
You have to encourage yourself.
yes. I'm not a loser. I have
Right.
I started it and have to finish.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, so for me, when I start something, I'm like, if I don't finish it, I'm a loser. So yeah, so there are times that I wish that
You are not
I'm
saying.
not started, but then you look at the time you've invested in it,
Yeah.
you're like, no, I have to finish this, otherwise I'm a loser. I've done so much, I can't quit. Yeah, so for PhD,
Yeah.
it is not about you being smart, it's about, I think, the resilience.
Okay.
So smart people can quit.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're not resilient and you are smart, you can start and
Yeah.
Like if you cannot, you quit. So
Yeah.
you should be able to when I found things stuff, there were times that I'll just like stop everything and go and find somewhere and sleep, like think about my life,
Yeah.
like do other things that would distract me from academic work,
Right.
and then get refreshed, because you can be burnt out.
Yeah.
And you just need something to distract you. And so for me, I think fortunately I had other things that can distract me, like my family, my kids, and all that. So it was helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So usually, if you have something else that can take your mind off academics,
Okay.
it's a bit helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Thanks for joining us, Sam Date. Sam says, great listening to you guys, and congratulations, Doc. You are both lab. Congratulations to you as well, Sam. You
Yeah.
graduated that very day.
Yeah.
In
It was
a school in Michigan
close
as
to
well.
mine. Yeah.
Right. Congratulations. Thanks for joining us, Osei Watson. Okay, so my next question is, do you think you love science more, given the way you studied it here, right? Because you could go through a program and just go through it, even excel in it, but you don't necessarily love it, right? But you can also have a certain approach that makes you really naturally develop love for it. Do you think you love science more?
Yeah. So that's true. Maybe because it was a lower level science I did in Ghana, like
Okay.
the undergrad. At the point when I completed my undergrad, even though like a biochemist,
Yeah.
for some reason sometimes I don't feel like a scientist, because I'm like,
Okay.
what have I done?
Yeah.
What big research have I done?
Okay.
Yeah, but I think I understood most of the concepts I learned.
Okay.
So because I did more theory, and like your final year you do research.
Yeah.
And I'll say I did them for my master's. It was biomedical, so it was a bit of applied sciences. So I
Okay.
didn't do more of the basic science that I did here.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's more of applied. And for the PhD was when I understood most of the things that I had
You are done in your past life.
learned
Yeah.
from at my undergraduate
Okay.
level. Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, but here what I find interesting is that undergrads come to the lab from their first year, their second year, and start doing research. So it's like most undergrads have a lot of publications, even by the time they are finishing their undergrad.
Okay.
They understand the concept.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that is what makes the study a bit different from Ghana, because they are always in the lab. So every week they have a number of hours they come to the lab
Okay.
to learn. So we train. So every PhD has an undergrad they mentor.
Okay.
And then once the undergrad is able to work on their own,
Yeah.
they have their own projects to work on.
Okay.
Yeah. So by the time you are going to final year, it's not like final year that you are thinking about what project, like the third year, you're thinking about what project you want to do. And you now have to try and think about the skills you need. They know what they are doing at their final year, because they already started early.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's easier. That's why in US you can move from undergrad straight to PhD.
PhD. Yeah.
Yeah, because they have all the skill sets they need to do the PhD.
Okay. Now, again, based on, and it's good you have the experience from both worlds, right? Based on the experience you've had here, do you think we will have more innovative scientists if we were teaching them this way, or they were actually studying the science this way? Because then again, it wouldn't be a situation of you having to fit in a certain box.
Because of limited resources.
Exactly, limited resources. You do
But
the
I
same
think
way.
it's more of funding. So the government here, like the NIH and NSF, they support, like they are the major funding institutions for the universities.
Okay.
They put in a lot they put a lot into research.
Okay.
So if, like in Ghana, we would have like a big, I don't know how big the funding institutions are, but then if you can push a lot into research, I think that it's not like Ghanaians, it's like because we are only limited, we cannot do
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
It's not like Ghanaians are not smart.
Oh,
We are
yeah.
one of the smartest people in the world,
Yeah.
but because of limited resources, we have just we can only do much.
Yeah.
And so it's like people even complete school and they are looking for jobs. But then if we have given them the skill set, we can also start a lot of biotech industries and all that in Ghana, because there are a lot here, even with funding and all that. But without funding, you are only limited to what you can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it not? And this goes into the basics of life and all. Is it not a case of you can only be thinking about research if you have your basics sorted out, right? If people are hungry, who cares about research, right? Like, you know, I've seen that in most developed countries, right? They really place a lot of emphasis on research, R&D. Like they pump in millions and billions of dollars just to do research, right? In a situation where we're trying to solve bread and butter issues, how
Then
would
our
research?
research can also be geared to solving our basic, like the level we are. That
Okay.
level of we may not have to jump to the level that the
Okay.
developed world is,
Okay.
but it looks like even at our level, we are not even focusing on that. If it has to do with maybe agriculture that
Yeah.
will help the economy,
Yeah.
we can channel most of our energies to that area and let us get to a certain level, then we move to the next level. Because if you're trying to skip other levels and catch up,
Okay.
it's like, I don't know how to say that, but you have a gap
Okay.
and you haven't filled that gap, but you're
Yeah.
trying to catch up with the
Okay.
world, and
Okay.
it's going to be some way, like so you have to fill in our gaps first, and then
Okay.
gradually we get to a certain level. So
Yeah.
sometimes we have people trying to do advanced research, but
Yeah.
it should be tailored to the needs of the country.
Okay.
More like, yeah, the world is like, is moving so fast,
Okay.
but then why don't we try and tailor most of our research to our needs first?
Okay.
Then gradually we also build something.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So before I go to my next question, so Sami says really from undergraduate straight to PhD. Yes, yes. I mean it's very common.
Yeah, it's common here.
Yeah.
So most PhD students are like in their 23s,
Yeah.
20,
Exactly.
and all that.
Yeah. Okay. So my next question has to do with, in terms of you saying that we should try and research stuff that would really be tailored to
To
our
help our economy. Yeah.
with your experience back in Ghana, do you think that most of the research that we do, like people who do their master's program or PhDs, do you think that the topics are usually abstract and don't apply to us? Or you think they are
So we do,
relevant researchers?
I think we do. I think most of the times when we are doing, there are some that are tailored, but most of the times when we are doing research, we look at what can fit a budget and not
Okay.
necessarily
Okay. What needs to be
what
done to
and sometimes it's even a replica of what has been done outside.
already
And so it's like we are playing catch up or something with
to develop well?
yes, but it's not even something that we need.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can look around and see things. And then here too, they are willing to fund people with ideas, because people have money
Yeah.
that if you bring ideas, they'll fund you.
Okay.
So if like the big industries in Ghana are willing to fund bright students who come up with nice ideas or great ideas, I think that we would also be in the forefront of research and academia. But like people are more like into just profits, like most of these industries in Ghana. Even I think most of the industry. So for us, you know why people don't even like doing pure sciences in Ghana? It's because of funding.
Yeah.
So they make fun. They tell you that when you do a course like chemistry, maths, biochemistry, you become a teacher.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Teacher.
It's like gold, a
Yeah.
gold mine here in US,
Yeah.
because they are doing the research.
Yeah.
They are doing the research, so they need people with those background, mathematics, chemistry, physics, for the applied. When you do applied sciences, apart from engineering, if you do a professional program in Ghana, if you are trying to transition here, it's more difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they rather prefer the pure sciences. And it's easier for somebody with the pure sciences to come and work, and like they take mostly pure scientists. So like you did zoology, botany, and all that. Those are very, very their skills or degrees that they want here. Usually they'll say, oh, you did botany in Ghana, and they look at you like, hey, what is this course you are doing? But botany is very, very, it's something that is longed after here.
Okay.
Yeah, so you get a program to do, because the basic science is what feeds the industries here.
Okay.
Yeah, so like if we don't invest in the basic sciences, then I don't know. And I think we don't invest in Ghana, we don't invest in our basic sciences. So
No, but if there is no money, why are you going to-
I think that is actually what will build the economy, because if we are able to solve our own problems through that basic sciences and we apply them, because some of the maybe the diseases we encounter here in the US are so different from even recently somebody was even talking about even instruments that are used for taking our oxygen levels and all that. They were developed with a white person in mind.
Okay.
So for we blacks,
Yeah.
it doesn't work exactly as it's supposed to, like with the whites. So sometimes we are
Like
that
we have different levels
because of our melanin.
Okay.
So if we blacks
How
do
does
not,
melanin contribute?
so I think it uses some sort of I don't know how it works, but
Okay.
maybe it's sort of how do you call it? Those refraction, absorption sort of. But we have melanin, so they are light skinned and we have melanin.
So that,
Okay, so
okay.
if we the blacks, we cannot research into our own, like get our because I don't know how to put it. If we cannot tailor our research towards ourselves,
Okay.
and we have most of the work that is done on the
Yeah.
whites, we might not have exactly the same
Expected results.
results.
because
Yeah,
we have
so
different
we may be using what has been done in the West or
Okay.
something, and it has been developed with the whites. A lot of white people with the trials they do,
Yeah.
they use white,
Yeah.
and it might give a different result in blacks. We may
Yeah.
never know,
Yeah.
so we might blindly be using them.
Okay.
So if we can also develop our own sort of research, tailoring it to our own needs and looking at our own markets, and that way it will be even more helpful to us. Yeah, so I think that's, we think that we want to invent things and the whites we invent it for us to use, but it might not exactly fit our needs. So we also have to pump in money, time, and all that into our own research. Yeah.
Okay, so this last question, you don't need to answer. You don't need to answer. It seems that you have a lot of good ideas for how we can at least improve, get out of where we are now, the position we are now. Are you willing to come to Ghana to come help us do all that? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, on that note,
I want to answer that.
we come to another episode of Dear Van. We will get back to you by Wednesday, maybe have a Christmas edition and so on and so forth.
I want to answer that.
Yes, and so thanks so much for joining us. Always remember that no two relationships are the same. Thanks, cheers, and bye for now.